Good morning, class 5. The topic for today's lesson is equivalent fractions. So before beginning the topic, I would like to do some revisions from the first video. So in our previous video, what we have already done is, what do you mean by fraction? Okay, types of fraction, like fraction, unlike fraction, proper fractions, improper fractions, and we also learned about converting mixed fraction into improper fraction and converting improper fraction into mixed fractions, right? So in this video what we are going to do is equivalent fractions. So what are equivalent fractions? Fractions that represent the same or equal portion of a whole is known as equivalent fraction. Okay, fractions that represent the same or equal portion of a whole is known as equivalent fractions. So with the help of an example, I would like to demonstrate this equivalent fractions. Okay, let's take an example of a pizza. So this is a pizza and I've divided this pizza into two parts, and this part I've eaten this part. Okay, so this means there are two parts and one part I've eaten one part, right? So let's take another pizza and let's divide into 4 equal parts. And among 4 equal parts, I've eaten this 2 parts. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4 parts and I've eaten 2 parts. But if you look carefully, I've eaten the same amount of pizza from one. Okay, if you look carefully, I've eaten the same amount of pizzas, but only the number of parts are more on this second one. And let's take another pizza and divide it into 8 parts. And over here also I have eaten 4 parts. Okay, 2, 3, 4 parts. Okay, there are 8 parts and I've eaten 4 parts. But if you look carefully in these 3 pizzas, the entire thing is the same. Okay, the entire portion is the same. I've eaten this portion, and I've also eaten this portion, but only the number of parts are more. Okay, so this type of fraction which represents equal or same proportion or portion is known as equivalent fractions. Okay, 1 by 2 can be represented as 2 by 4, and 2 by 4 and 1 by 2 can be represented as 4 by 8. So this type of fractions are known as equivalent fractions. So how can we find equivalent fraction, okay, of a fraction? So how can we find equivalent fraction of a fraction? In order to find equivalent fraction, what we can do is multiplying numerator and denominator with same number. Okay, we can multiply the numerator and the denominator with the same number, and we can also divide the numerator and the denominator with the same number, but we have to make sure that number should not be 0. Okay, let's take another example from exercise 6b. Number 1, the question says is use multiplication to write 2 equivalent fractions of the fractions. So over here we'll have to use multiplication and find out 2 equivalent fractions. Let's say, for example, the number is 2 by 5. 2 by 5, let's multiply it with 2. Okay, 2 2s is 4, 5 2s is 10. One number is 4 by 10, and let's multiply this 4 by 10 again with 2. 2 4 2s is 8, 10 twos is 20. Okay, so the another equivalent fraction of 2 by 5 is 8 by 20. So let's solve number D. 12 by 13. Let's multiply it with 3. 36 and 39. Okay, one equivalent fraction is 36 by 39, and let's multiply this 36 by 39 by 3. 3 6 is 18, 3 3 is 9, 10, 3 9 is 27, 2 3 3 is 9, 10, 11. So 108 by 117. So the equivalent fraction of 12 by 13 is 36 by 39 and 108 by 117. So this is how you can find equivalent fractions using multiplication. Okay, let's solve number 2. Number 2 says write two equivalent fractions using divisions. So now we'll have to use divisions in order to find the equivalent fractions. Like for example, let's say 18 by 27 can be divided by 3 equals to 6 by 9. Okay, 6 by 9, and 6 by 9 can also be divided with 3. 2 is 6 and 3 is 9, and another one is 2 by 3. Now 54 by 81 can also be divided it with 3 divided with 3 equals to 3 ones are 3 eights are 3 twos are 3 sevens are, and 18 by 27 is one equivalent fraction, and let's divide 18 by 27 by 3. 6 and 9. 6 and 9. So the equivalent fraction of 54 by 81 is 18 by 27 and 6 by 9.